Jason wrote a great column this morning in The Athletic, and he talked about that Mobley's got to shoot threes. It's really that simple.
See, I read that, and I disagree with you.
Well, you disagree with him, but I
it's his premise.
But I guess you do disagree with me too.
If you're co-signing it, yes, because
I think he's 100% right.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because he's got to prove he can make threes first. You can't just say we need threes from this player. Obviously, they need
how
threes
can he prove it if he's not shooting it?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
He supposedly went into the lab in the offseason and worked on the three. And before he got hurt, he was shooting threes, and he wasn't making them.
But how many threes was he shooting before that?
Mike, what's his number of threes
give
on
me
the
a second,
season?
I'll pull it up.
He did cut back because I think out of necessity.
We can listen. We can learn from Isaac Okoro. Isaac Okoro was left alone last year. This year, when they asked him about it, he said, "Listen, they're leaving me open. Even if I miss or make it, I got to just shoot it with confidence because I got to spread the floor. I got to be a threat."
That's what I want to know. So when Mobley's in, okay, you don't want him shooting threes. Is he in at the 4 or the 5?
See,
for that's what I need to know.
And listen,
because if he's
that's what I need to know. That's the big question.
Well, but that's the thing. We got it. The Cavs are obviously showing that they're better playing this style of basketball. But let me just finish.
Okay.
If Evan Mobley can hit, he should have the ability to hit threes. The regular season is the time to find out. When else do we find out?
I have your numbers here. So, as a rookie, in 2020, Evan Mobley attempted 92 threes in 69 games, so just over 1 3 a game.
Yeah. What was his percentage?
25%.
Okay. Too low.
Last season, 79 games, 102 threes. So same.
A little bit more.
It was like 1.3 versus 1.2.
Right.
22%.
Down.
This year, in 22 games, he's only shot 10 threes.
Okay, so now.
It's gone down, and it's 20%.
But here's my takeaway from that. I think the Cavs finally realized it's not going to happen. He went down year 1 to year 2 in his three-point shooting percentage.
He was 19 years old.
He's 21 now. But here's what I'm saying.
But Jay, the only way you can do it is the only way you can find out is if you do it.
That's not true. With shooting, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. With shooting, obviously things change when you got a hand in your face. But I think they've learned from watching him shoot in practice with nobody in his face. He just isn't going to be that guy. And bullets, like we say, the outfielder should hit more home runs for the Guardians.
To be honest,
you can say that. You need them to hit home runs, but it doesn't mean they're going to because you need them.
Sure, but JB has said they want him to shoot 3 more.
Well, clearly they're off of that track.
You know how you become a better three-point shooter in the game?
Become a better three-point shooter in practice.
No, you just can't care. You got to not give a F.
So in other words,
when you get the ball, just shoot it. Don't
Mike,
care, just shoot it.
You're the shooter of the group. I do think there is something to that. You have to be. You have to be unencumbered. You have to fire it up.
Because I listened to Rajon Rondo say. He said, "There's like Rajon."
Well, it's easy for Rajon Rondo to say.
Why are you able to shoot more threes? He said, "Well, that's because I stopped caring. I just shoot it."
But you're talking about a 7-footer, and we talked about this on the program a number of weeks ago about why women are more built from a skeletal standpoint to shoot three-pointers. Things are more in line. Men have bigger collarbones. Their shoulders are broad. That gets their arms in funny angles. It's not a given that he's going to become a great shooter. There are a lot of players that have tried with all of their might to become better shooters. We saw Shaq a couple of years. He went from, I don't care about free throw shooting, I'm going to still score 30 a game, to, okay, I see with the Hack-a-Shack, I've got to get better. He never got better, but he worked on it.
There are sitters like Brook Lopez who've turned himself into a really good three-point shooter. And
so there's examples both ways.
Yes.
So I'm wondering.
That's why you got to try it.
I'm wondering. Well, the Cavs certainly made it a point of emphasis after his rookie season. They told him, this offseason, you're going to get better at shooting threes. He came back and he got 3 percentage points worse.
I think that, listen, to be honest with you, for him, you got to think about a mind of an NBA player. If he can just put on tape that he has the ability to, so say he moves to the 5. Let's say he moves to the 5 and him and Donovan is running pick and roll, okay?
Right.
To have the threat of a guy that can pick and stay at the three-point line or roll, that's a lot. And then on top of that, if he does stay at the three-point line, that takes the big out of the paint. Now Donovan can finally go to the cup and he don't have to kick it. He can finish.
So what you're explaining is a fantasy. Because no, I don't. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. Let me say it this way: what you're saying is the perfect situation.
Yes.
Because obviously now he becomes a threat on the outside. That changes the way everybody plays defense against him. But Mike, on the point of him becoming a better shooter, Bull is saying you just got to try. He's got to do it.
What's the
He's gotta
downside?
do
Shoot it up there.
Well, the downside is if you give him a high volume of shots, and he's shooting 22%, the analytics tell you, if you want to go to analytics, that you have to hit a certain threshold of your threes for it to be an advantage for you to keep taking them.
I know that, but it's the regular season. You're getting ready for the playoffs. Who cares if you win? If you lose a game because he's working on his three-point shot, who cares?
Well, he did it for 2 seasons. He shot enough
Jay, he's
for a
20
big
years
guy.
old.
Mike,
he's
can
only
he become a
taking
great shooter based on what you've seen?
Say the question again, sorry.
Can he become a great three-point shooter or serviceable? I don't need 25,
I just need his
22%.
serviceable.
He's got to be in the
Serviceable,
30s.
But here's the thing. For the Cavs to be at their best defensively, Mobley and Allen play together. Offensively, as currently constructed, their best lineups do not include those two.
That's
now,
why you got to
At the
find
same
out.
time.
at the same time.
I agree with
To
that.
Jason's point in the article,
Yeah.
and I agree with the premise of it,
I do too. But can it happen?
but it's more of the threat.
I'm
He
We
doesn't have
don't
to, he
know
doesn't
if
have
it can
to
happen.
make
But Mike,
They've never given it a try.
For him to be a threat, he's got to be a threat.
Can I-
He's got to make
G.
them.
Bush, what's up?
Can I give you a list of big men? See, first of all, the phenomenon with the big men has not taken hold until a couple of years ago,
That's true.
right? So let's just keep it real. I can give you a list of names of people that were not good shooters, but became
Embiid.
Joel Embiid.
Better shooters.
Joel Embiid was not a shooter.
He was not no shooter.
No, I know he wasn't.
Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, all
He was
mid-range,
all-
all mid-range
Yep.
game.
5-foot jumpers, 7-foot jumpers,
Kelly
sky hooks.
Brooke Lopez, Kelly Olynyk was not jumpers. The Morris twins was not jump shooters. Karl Towns did not start shooting threes till a couple years ago. Lauri Markkanen was not that great of a shooter until he got here and started shooting. Channing Frye. You look at Rasheed Wallace in his game. Antoine Walker. Kevin Love was not shooting threes like that. Now he only shoots
Now
threes.
listen, to be fair, like guys like Jokic and Embiid,
Joker.
they were shooting low 30%, but they were getting 3-4 shots a game. Of course he's not shooting well. He's taking 1 3-pointer a game. You're not going to get any rhythm. He should. It seems obvious to me.
So if he starts shooting 5 a game, he'll be up near 30%.
I
you
would.
think?
I hopefully, and if he doesn't, then well, but you got to give it a chance. We've never tried that.
Antoine Jameson.
He's
never
never
used to
been a
shoot
volume
threes.
three-point shooter. I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think
So-
the reason for that is he's not a shooter.
Well, we don't know that because he hasn't had the opportunity to.
He's
He
not a
hasn't so
shooter
far.
yet. We've seen that to this point of his career, 2.5
Yeah.
seasons.
He's not been a
been
shooter.
able to hit a consistent jump shot, but he's also 21 years old. To say he'll
Absolutely.
never be a shooter
Mike,
is way
how
too
do
early
you-
to write him off.
Sorry to cut you off, Mike. How do you know if a guy can't be a consistent shooter if he's not given the opportunity or he hasn't done it? Maybe he needs more confidence. I don't know. When they drafted him, the Cavs thought he could be a three-point shooter, but now he's averaged 1.2 three-pointers per attempt per year, and we're going to give up on him at 20? That's crazy.
You're not giving up on him as a player. He just as a three-point shooter.
Why? We don't know enough. We haven't seen enough.
What Bull is saying is you have to be intentional about what you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
You have to have a game plan that's to be purposeful and say, okay, you're not a good shooter now, but here's what we want. Let's show you on film where you didn't take this three-point shot and you hesitated.
That's what
Now
I
let's
say.
be
You
intentional
gotta
and
just
say,
fire that
let
thing.
that go. See, shooting threes is almost like the running game. You might not hit all of them. You might not get a touchdown every time you run the ball, but you have to utilize it in order to keep the defense honest because you can't have the paint back. So listen, that shot
Just
that
pull
you're
it.
going to shoot,
Just pull it.
now you give Jared Allen the opportunity for a rebound. Now if you swing it, if you hit that a couple times, they got to rotate over. You have to have a game plan that says, we want you to take that. And if you don't say that, you really don't know if he's going to develop into that.
And hey, Ty, real quick, perfect example of that, G. In Brooke Lopez's first 8 seasons in the NBA, first 8 seasons, he took 31 threes, shot 0.97%, so less than 10%. First 8 seasons, 31 total threes.
It's crazy.
He goes his last season in Brooklyn. They added Kevin Garnett. That was the year with not Kevin Garnett. Sorry,
No.
but that was in 2016, 2017. I forget who the big man was, but they needed him to step outside. He shot 387 threes the next year. He went from 31 in
What
his
was his
first 8
percentage?
season. He shot 35%.
Okay, so let me ask you this. At that point in his life, is this, and I don't know because I didn't follow it closely with him, Is that something that he just said, okay, you know what, I'm just going to go and I'm going to work on my three-point shot until I develop my three-point shot?
Well, he never had a chance. He had 31 shots in 8 seasons.
Right.
So
well,
I had no idea.
And by
No
the
one
way,
knew he
too,
could
it
shoot
was a
threes.
different NBA
Griffin
then.
become a
It
shooter.
was. It was a much different NBA
Yes.
then. And Jason's premise, I agree with. What a wonderful world it would be if this guy could make three-pointers. But are we going to let Austin Hedges steal bases? How do we know he can't steal bases? Well, I mean, look at him. We don't think he can steal bases. Is he suddenly going to become fast?
Okay, so
Are you really comparing Austin Hedges' ability to steal and Evan Mobley?
I'm using
Evan
a
Mobley's
player.
20 years
I'm using
old,
a
Jay.
player who
Yeah.
has a skill set that we're
So-
going to try to force him into that hole because who
The
knows?
team
Maybe he
has-
can steal
but
bases.
the team has said they think he's capable
So let
of
me
it.
ask-
I know they have.
Why wouldn't you give him the opportunity if
Wait,
he's never done it?
Jay,
Has the same team told him back off on the threes?
Jay, are
No,
you?
I don't
It's
think
his-
so.
I don't know that either. Mike,
I just
why
need
is he
to
not
know-
shooting anymore?
I need to know how many threes are you comfortable with him taking a game?
Not one a game.
Not even one.
Because that was basically where he was when he was 22%.
So Evan Mobley should not even go to the
All right,
three-point line.
Here's what I want. If Evan Mobley can prove that he can hit three-pointers, and my guess is
How can he prove
Look,
it without it's not in a
So,
game?
Bull, do you think they've seen him shoot in practice?
Sure.
Okay, so we haven't. We don't know.
And they want him to shoot threes. Jason said it in the article.
Listen,
that,
I want him to make threes. I don't want him to shoot threes. I want him to make threes.
But Jay, you're talking
So-
in circles here. You said
I am
you
not,
said they've
Bull.
seen him in practice.
Yes,
I
and they-
said they want him to shoot, and you're saying he shouldn't shoot.
Bull.
So
They have possibly, perhaps, we don't know this.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've been asked this. Somebody needs to ask JB.
he just said it in,
Let-
in
let me-
Jason's article.
Why is
today.
he shooting less threes now?
I don't know.
Let me give you this.
I don't either.
This is something y'all will perfectly understand.
Yeah.
Let's go to baseball. All the time in baseball, there are pitchers, right? And you might be a two pitch guy. You might be three pitches. How often do they tell you, you know what, we think you could throw a splitter. We think you could throw a curveball. We think you could throw a slider. So they go in the lab and they work on those pitches, right? Now, sometimes those pitches are, unless you consistently work on them and you throw them in bullpen sessions, you eventually have to throw those in the game.
That's right.
Are you going to
Sure.
hang one of them? Sure. But you're working on stuff. Another thing, velocity. Nowadays, people believe you can teach velocity. I watch these videos.
Yeah.
These guys come in, they get a guy, he said, this guy is strong. He has a nice base, lower body. This guy should
You've
be-
always been able to increase velocity. That's not.
But that's it's about training though, right? It's about how you, if your mechanics are good and they're like, listen, we could tweak this, and he has the raw talent. We believe that he can throw 3 to 4 more miles
But
out
G,
of practice.
there is one difference. In
Okay.
baseball, if you have 2 A+ pitches, no one's going to touch you. They're fine with that. If you have a B+ pitch and your secondary pitch is a C+ pitch, you damn well better get a third and fourth pitch.
and so
You're going to need to. So, but in Allen's case, or excuse me, in Mobley's case, he has some A+ skill sets to him.
he has an A+ skill set as far as defense. We know he has a potential to be a great defender.
And maybe that's what he is.
But here's the thing: if you're in the NBA, in this NBA, and you are a big, you are a forward, you have to be able to stretch the floor. There's no more sense in the regular power forwards. You got to stretch the floor. So if you're a defender, he has to. That's he got to
I'm
get a
gonna
new
tell you
pitch.
right now, if he go to Golden State, he'd become a really good shooter. I
Let
don't
me
know
read
what
you
it
two-
is,
let
but
me
they
read you
make
two-
him
They're
a really
coaching
good
him.
shooter.
Let
over
me
there.
read this from Jason's
It'd be
article.
nice if they could.
This from Jason's article this morning. All right. He said the Cavs want nothing more than for Mobley to become a viable three-point
Of
threat.
course.
It is the single biggest factor that could unlock levels this roster hasn't yet reached.
Totally agree.
Now let me read you quotes later in the article from JB. Quote, if Evan is open behind the three-point line, we've talked to him. He's got to take those shots. He has the ability to make those shots, but it's difficult in the game if you're only going to shoot one a game or one every 2 weeks. He's flat out saying, shoot the ball more, Evan. That's what he's saying.
Let me
in
ask
that
Mike a
quote.
question. Mike, what? Obviously, the player's psyche factors into that. He clearly doesn't have
gotta not
confidence in
give
the
it
shot, or he would let it rip more often.
Yeah, I mean,
So
shooting's-
what is the because the premise is like, yeah, I want a Maserati. The Cavs say they want nothing more than for Evan Mobley to become a shooter. If you're the Guardians, you want nothing more than your outfielders to each hit 30 home runs. Like, of course.
That's not the same thing,
Well,
Jay.
you know what you want.
He's saying that he's capable.
Now I'm going to go to that.
Yeah.
Now to the point where apparently he has a green light to do this. So jump into his mind as a shooter. Why isn't he doing it?
I mean, I think in the offensive system, when you have Allen and Mobley, he's just not out in the corner a ton.
No,
which
he's
is where you
not.
want
First
him
But
to be.
now they played it differently. So now they're playing. They weren't playing this style of basketball.
I agree.
Yesterday was his first game with this style of play.
I agree,
So
Paul,
now there's
So why
going to be
isn't
more
he
opportunity.
Why?
But what do you mean why? It's only been one
I think
game.
we'll start to see him shoot some more.
No, he has said in the past he's got to start shooting those shots when he's open. He's had, and I've seen it. He's had instances where he's been open on the wing with the ball in his hand.
I think
and you
what
know
you're
what I'm
saying, Jay-
saying when I'm watching it? Don't do it.
I think what you're getting at is confidence. I mean, look
That's
at
that's
Isaac
exactly
Okoro
where I'm going.
is
And the
a
only way he's going to
perfect
build his
example of
confidence
this.
is by making shots.
So
And
back to, he got
on the
back
other
to
side, if he starts letting them fly and he continues to be what he's been, his confidence is going to erode because he's not making those shots. He becomes less likely to shoot those shots if he shoot or shoot. They don't care about the percentages,
My
and I
point
totally
exactly.
agree.
Just
And I
shoot
think
it.
someone said Rajon Rondo or whoever it
Yeah,
was.
don't-
Hell yeah, man! That guy's built to shoot.
I don't give a.
That's what he
Just
has
shoot.
to do.
Also, you got to take it.
It's got to be a rhythm.
You guys got to take it in consideration this too.
You jacked up 20 a game.
Evan Mobley's a young player. Evan Mobley is. Sometimes people are born with the mentality to go get it. Sometimes you're not born with that. When you got alpha mentalities like Donovan Mitchell,
He's very passive.
when you even
Very passive.
even George Niang is over the top. You got guys. Those guys, the bigs, are not what we have big personalities. Sometimes you got to grow into that.
Can you? I think we all agree here. He's overly passive. Can you change that, Mike? Can you change your level of aggression?
Yes.
On the court, you can.
Yeah.
If it's not in you naturally,
Yeah.
how do you do that? How do you
It's a
how do you
choice.
become a dog?
It's a choice.
So you just say, "I'm going to be a
That's
dog
right.
now,"
Yes.
even if that's
And
not
it-
your
and it-
personality.
I
Because
swear to
I've
God,
been
that's the
told,
truth.
I've been
I
told, and
swear that's the
you've
truth.
said this before. Hey man, if a guy's not a leader, he's not a leader. You can't knock him for that.
If you would,
There are levels to it.
Listen,
but yeah, you can change.
Okay, of
Tough-
course there are
no,
levels
you don't have
to
to
it.
be a
toughness
leader
is
to
a
be-
choice.
No, I'm comparing that like
don't care what
we've
nobody
said in the
say.
past, like, come on, Miles, lead. And guys would say, no, it's not like there's a leadership
toughness
switch
and being a
under
dog
your
is a
armpit.
choice. I'm telling you right now, because a lot of people grow up and they're not naturally tough.
Right.
But if you tell yourself, you know what, today I'm gonna be the baddest
become
MF out
tough.
there,
Huh.
and I don't care what nobody say.
Huh.
You will go out there and you will be that guy.
Wow, no kidding.
I did it.
That's amazing.
Oh, I did it. But see now, but then I turned 20. I'm about to be 30 in a couple of weeks, and I'm not. You know, I had kids.
Are
and
you
I
having a big
decided to
party?
fall back.
You're soft now, right?
I'm not soft. That's a difference.
medium
I ain't
soft.
soft. But I ain't.
Are you having
I'm not,
your 30th
I
birthday
ain't
party?
turned up all the way. No, I'm not.
Why aren't you having a 30th birthday party?
It's just another day.
Mm.
I'm
Hey,
I'm
Mike.
cutting my hair bald that day.
All right, so I want to see him shooting 4 threes a game starting right now.
Mike, do you think it's a good idea for him to shoot 3 to 4 threes a game?
I don't think it hurt right now.
Then do it.
I
Let it
see
fly.
No
Because
downside.
if
to
it-
trying
And we'll
right
find out what he's got.
If it doesn't work, okay, you're in no different position than you are now. If it does work, wow, this team maybe can reach a whole new level.
I think to go to the championship, I do believe that if he does become the shooter they need him to be, I think they're a threat to win a championship.
So then you got
I
to do it.
However, I also I'm just of the mindset I'm a little different than you guys in that you say no, you can just tell yourself no, I'm tough now, and then you're tough, or no, I'm a 3-point shooter now.
Try it.
And now you're a 3-point shooter.
Try it.
It isn't really different from a guy in baseball saying, oh, now I'm a home run hitter. I've hit him in batting practice. I'm going to try to hit him in the game.
Swinging for the fences.
Go.
Every
Let's
last
go.
one.
Now,
I'm swinging.
I do agree with this premise. You can't find out in a playoff series.
Right.
That's a fact.
So
Let's find out.
if I'm JB, here's what I tell him. For every 10 minutes of floor time you get, I want at least 1 3-pointer. And that's a mandate. You pick when the spot is. If you play 30 minutes, you better have 3-point shot attempts.
Right.
We have to figure out
Can you
if
do
you've
it?
gotten any better at shooting threes.
That's right, because it's hard. He's only, for his career, he's averaged 1.23 attempts per game.
That's low.
It's hard to be, like, even, you look at some of these other guys who have become good 3-point shooters that are big guys, their numbers have gone up, but they were at least attempting 3 a game.
I wonder how
early
hard
in
he
their
really
careers.
worked on it in the off seasons. I wonder
I
that.
don't know. That we don't know.
Maybe he knows he didn't work hard enough on it, and he knows he's not going to suddenly start magically hitting threes. So it is a confidence issue for me.
Sure, that's
And
a
I don't
factor.
want I don't want a guy who's shaky in his confidence jacking up threes.
But
but let's try it in the the regular season.
I would just say it's like the same thing we talked about with Deshaun Watson to some degree, where we said, well, if he can't handle Joe Flacco as a backup, he's never going to be good anyway.
Right.
If Evan Mobley can't handle the failure of shooting poorly from three, at least initially, well, he was never going to make it anyway.
We'll find out now with this new style of offense they run. He ain't got no choice but to shoot him.
Yeah.
And
I will say this.
We're going to find out.
Evan Mobley has a high ceiling. We all agree. That's why nobody wants to trade this guy. If he doesn't develop that shot, he'll never be the unicorn we thought and hoped he could be.
That's right.
So if I'm JB, I tell him it's in your hands. You can be a really good player. You can be an elite defender. But if you want to be an elite player who a team can build around and you can lead to a championship, this is the missing piece. Develop it.